when we edit, we okay. Okay, please, Dr.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I am Mo, and I will be moderator in this podcast. This podcast will be our third podcast, and if it is the first time for you listening our website, may I introduce today's key speaker, Dr. Hendra, the principal coordinator of IPC, International Project Collaboration of SOLEN VP Vietnam. And the participants are Mr. Hong, the director of SOLEN, and Mr. Kuku, the panel member of the IPC program, SOLEN.
Good evening.
Good evening. So today podcast will focus on how the continuous development of drives different environmental exploitation. So, Mr. Henrat, could you start with the background of regarding to this topic?
Okay, first of all, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure for me to be able to share some thoughts. Maybe we can say some of my view, like thinking out loud, based on the experience and observation around this one. So today I would like to highlight it's not an issue, but it's more on like let's try to put it as a thinking for us together. This one. So we all realize that the development within many part of the globe, this one continue to happen. This one with surely giving the different environmental exploitation. I'm saying exploitation this one because whatever we did, actually it's cause something to our environment. So sorry if some may think is a bit offended about the use of environmental exploitation term, but we can take an example for mineral resource extraction. This one. So who doesn't need the mineral resources? One. There are many different type of industries happen within our globe. This one with the need of the mineral exploration. But what is the cost of this mineral exploration? It costs us our landscape. So it changed our forest resources. It changed our water resources as well. And it gives also impact to our socioeconomic prosperity. In one way, it's a positive. In another way, we still have to face with the consequences. One. So in short, it's just like that. Whatever happened as the cost of our action, this one need to be subsidized or compensated by the lack or further exploitation to our nation. So this is actually what I want to emphasize a little bit. So in the essence of how we gonna see this trend of continuous development, this one within our region, and for us as environmental practitioner here. Yeah.
Thank you for the background. So the first question will be why do we need environmentally sound practices in our lives?
So if we hear the term, it's very nice. So everyone try to use the term in many publication, even try to put it into how we teach our future generation. We have to be aware of doing things with the environmental sound practice. This one. So we indeed really need this one because we are living in the present time where we have so many data, so many background, so many research, so many studies, so many things that we have tried to study to learn about the things happening about doing within environment to the impact of our living this one. So in short is that we need to take this one more seriously because the data, the fact is there to show us if we did something bad and not accordingly to the guidance protocol, whatever this one, then the impact this one. I think that is this one. So you cannot ignore this one. It's already written in the record, this one. And the second is, we should also think that the effect that caused by the action, this one, it may last longer than our lifespan. So say that I may live until 70, but the effect of my action to the environment may last until the next 200 years, this one. And if we just depend on the nature to take care itself, or by the term is natural attenuation, this one. So we have to think that what happened with our generation, what happened with our kids, what happened with our grandchildren that still live within that scale of time of the impact. Huh? And another thing, I think, as I have presented during one of the lecture with Solen, this one. So at the time of presenting about the doing the environmental impact assessment in Lao PDR. So I think I took the example of the hydropower project development, this one. So I think the assessment that we have on the hydropower project development is large, this one. No? So that show that if we are part of that development project, this one, we should not take it easily, of the scale of impact, this one. For example, that it's really changed the landscape, this one, change the shape of the forest, change the shape of the water course, this one, change the shape of the people, how they live, depending on the water, from having only the river flow into the impounded water, this one, no? And many things happen, this one. So I don't think that without proper mitigation measure, management, monitoring, and those aspects of the environment and social living, can be into the something accordingly that what we expect is, or turn into the positive way. I think that is why we need a practice in a good environment way. Yeah.
It's true. Thank you for this sharing this point of view. And for the second question, I would like to ask that what do you think about the current development trend versus environmental impacts?
Yeah, this is something that I am really happy to be part of today's podcast, this one, because I have like a moral responsibility to share this one. So let's say that we are part of the a good program, this one, that coordinated by an institution, organization well known in the globe, this one. So say that we have so many development agenda, this one, in the scale of the global scale, regional scale, of local scale, this one also. And everything that happened with that program or agenda into that is having a theme of the environmentally sound practice, this one. But to me, that is not a simple matter, this one. It's actually kind of complex thing, this one. Because like I emphasized earlier, this one, so whatever we did, it will cause something in another part of our landscape or demographic setting, this one. So let's retake again the example of the hydropower, this one. So in one of the lecture that I mentioned also earlier, this one, I mentioned that Laos, as one of the country in the lower Mekong region or part of the ASEAN, this one, two or three decades ago, this one, they tried to promote hydropower project development, this one, because by that time, hydropower project is known to be one of the alternative energy resource that label as the green energy, this one. So we are in that trend actually, until today, this one, considering to continue development of hydroelectric power generation in Laos, this one. But during this 2 to 3 decades, this one, we also found that there are a research, study this one further, deeper this one and more advanced this one. And then they also confirm that actually the big hydropower project refer to the project with the big reservoir, big dam, also contribute to the GHG emission this one. So can we really consider that we are doing green when we know that we are still contributing to again quote to quote a negative threat to the environment this one. So it's not only end to that one, because once you have the big reservoir or created this one, you can always have what they call a residual impact. It refers to that things that even though already mitigated, even though you already implemented a certain measure this one, you still cannot get it uh, to back to the condition where it before the project is developed. That is why we call that the residual impact. So for example, okay, you build the dam means that you change the water course from the fast flow river into the stagnant water this one. So even though you say that, okay, we're creating the fish species one, we created the fish conservation zone, we try to promote this one like about riparian buffer protection this one to reduce this one. But the creation of the reservoir itself, it's already resulted with the death of certain fish population this one, which you cannot replace it. They are just the organic matter like us. So when human die, so you cannot replace them this one. The same when certain species or group of species die because they cannot cope with changing of the environment this one. How you gonna uh, substitute them this one? So that's why that is even after you put all the measure mitigation, you still have a loss this one, and you still have to deal with this one. So the loss this one you have to mitigate this one before with residual impact and many things this one. The change in cultural, social, economic behavior this one of people this one. So it's a big and a lot to and wider also to extend that we can think of on our area of expertise as well. And it come down into the point that the fundamental view here is one. So actually, how much we want to see, how much we want to see the benefit of or the positive impact from the specific action that we generate, initiate, or created compared to the loss of or the adverse impact as well. So whatever we did this one, it may always trigger a consequence to the other aspect of our life. So I think that in short, this one, so we cannot escape for the development. We need the development this one. If we think about how to sustain our next generation this one, we need development this one. But I think it's very important to teach ourselves, realizing for experience, lesson learned, exchange that we have this one to our future generation. So please be wise about the action this one. Whatever that we did this one, it always give the consequence. You cannot say that what you did is 80 or 90% will give the positive trait this one. No. Even if you say that one, you still have 10 to 20% of the negative trait that you still have to be responsible for that one. I'm not saying that like I mentioned about the hydropower project is bad. No, I'm not saying this one, but if you want to continue with the development, continue with the one shape of the formation of the activity, this one, we should make sure that we also, as practitioner, develop ourselves. So make sure that we part of the development of ourselves in terms of how we be better to manage the impact, to mitigate it, to make sure that this one. So I think we need the support, cooperation from different agency, this one. Yeah, for sure. Like we need the regulatory agency, this one. We need the stronger policy frameworks and law regulation, this one. We also need the stronger implementation in terms of the commitment, how the law being enforced, this one. We need that one, this one. And to derive this one, I think us as the environmental practitioner here is to share our knowledge. This one. Okay, if our kids thinking about, okay, we still want to continue with this development, okay, it's fine, but this is the lesson learned that we have, this one. And this is the homework that you can continue to make it better for your generation. This one. I think that's, I hope it's answered the question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hendra, for sharing the current development trend versus environmental impact with this with the examples, good examples. So, Mr. Ho, do you have any addition do you want to add based on your experience?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mu, for your question. Also, thank you, Dr. Henda, for your discussion. I think totally I agree with you with your point of view regarding like why do we need to practice like environmental sound actions in our daily life and the like the relationship between the current development with the environmental impact. And yes, of course, I think there are one thing I want to share with you because a lot of people in love, they are trying to say like say no with the plastic bag, plastic packaging. But I don't think so. We shouldn't say no because plastic products itself is like an innovation of human being and it's still useful. But the important thing is we should use it environmentally. It's like yeah. So it's like we can save in using it. We use it properly and we try to reuse, we cycle it. So I think that's more important than like how to say no to do that. So that's why now we are Solen also trying to bring some technology from the developed countries to Vietnam to deal with the plastic waste in Vietnam locally. So I do hope that in very near future we can have something happen in a reality in Vietnam. So at that time we can see a better picture of like how we can live with plastic sustainably. Okay, that's all so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ho, for sharing your experience. For me also, like using the plastic disposal, the plastic without proper way, it's like a sin for us, right? It will not be in the religions, but you know, right? It's really sin for us to, so we have to take care of it. Mr. Kuku, do you have any comments for regarding this topic? Do you have any comments for that?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mo, and also thank you, Dr. Hendra, with the very excited discussion. If I may add something, I would like to give an real example. What we have here in Indonesia, the lithium. As you know, lithium is a very important mineral for this transition to using the renewable energy, especially as the main material for the battery that used in the electrical vehicles. But yeah, as you know, also the mining activities are still too detrimental, or I might say destructive to the environment. And one of the significant environmental problems associated with the nickel mining is the water pollution. Yeah. The wastewater from the mining activities contain particles like the pollutant, the water sources, such as nickel ore or mercury or other heavy metals that were discarded into the water in the surface as well as in the groundwater. So yeah, the impact was felt in various regions. That's why we need to change our mindset and be ready with the consequences. As we know, if we don't really think about what will happen if we don't consider the environmental impact, especially for our future kids. Just like what we have discussed in the liquid previously, Dr. Hendra. And I also agreed with what Dr. Hendra said. We don't saying that the energy transition is bad, but we just need to taking more seriously concern regarding what is the impact to the environment. I think that's all that I need to say, Dr. Hendra and Mr. Hum. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kuku, for the in sharing about the experience. So yeah. So shall we start our podcast? So thank you for joining us today. It's because thank you. We explore the intricate relationship between continuous development and environmental exploitation. So it is evident that this is a multifaceted issue that demands our attention and thoughtful consideration. So thank you once again for being part of this meaningful discussion. We look forward to bringing you more thought-provoking topic in future episodes. Until then, let's keep the conversation going and walk together towards a brighter and greener future. Goodbye and take care.
Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Have a nice day, everyone.